All right, so I just got done with another workout right here, and I had somebody on my channel comment, when would you start, venturing out to native content? I think this is a really great question that some learners like yourself may be struggling with. Again, just for your information, I'm not a language expert. I'm not claiming to be the best person at learning languages. I'm just some guy on YouTube who is really focused on learning Thai right now, and I plan on continuing learning Thai for the next at least few years in the future. And my primary method of learning Thai, just so you know, is through comprehensible input. I did start off very early in the beginning doing the basic textbook of kind of approach. The book of my choice was the Thai Asmio book. Before I found comprehensible input, I already got to about lesson, I think like 75 or something like that. Towards the end of the book, it's just like 100 chapters. And then I did skim through the Teach Yourself and Becker book, but I'd never really focused on reading or writing or anything in that nature, because quickly after starting my study of Thai, I found the Thai Comprehensible Input YouTube channel. I'll put a link down below, and then you can go check them out. It's completely for free to learn Thai. And if you're following along this method and you want to start watching native content, right? Like you're looking at starting to get better at native speech, especially if you're coming from a more textbook approach. The textbooks, even though they're great, especially the Becker or Teach Yourself books, they're very grammatically correct, but native Thais don't use the same grammar that you would learn in your textbooks. And I think that's where a lot of learners start having some major issues. Once they start watching native content or talking to Thai people, they sort of get lost in conversations and they're just not able to keep up about what's going on, because Thai people don't use complete sentences. They don't have the exact same way of saying things when they're naturally speaking. And like I said before, the Becker book is great at explaining proper grammatically like structured ways to speak for a Westerner. But when you're around a group of Thai people or you're watching native content for the first time for enjoyment, Thai people do not speak like they do in the textbook. They leave off a lot of words and they shorten everything quite a bit, especially if you're coming from, say, a native English speaking environment. It's going to be very different than what you could possibly be used to. So that's something just to be aware of. If you're taking the more comprehensible input approach, I would say you'd be better off just from the nature of the approach is very input focused, where you're hearing a lot of the words and you can kind of put things together and you're discovering the language and not just studying the language. But you need to start thinking about when you start adding in native content. The top 5 things that you need to know if you're going to start using native content. The first one, it's going to be very important, where it's time to move on to some type of native content, is that you are bored out of your mind with the comprehensible input style videos, because these videos are made for teaching. They can be very, very childish, repetitive. For my own case, like the amount of times they're talking about vegetables or plants, food in general. I feel like, Thai culture is great. Like they love food, I understand. But when it's food that's really, drawn down just to Thailand, the vegetables that are very unique, the herbs just to Thailand, it just becomes very distant, where it's not that engaging. If you're starting to feel like even at 200 hours that you need to branch out and find something engaging, as long as something with heavy visuals and a very clear microphone in the content, the creator of the video is talking very clearly and you can understand something that they're saying and follow along. The most important thing, can you follow along with what they're talking about? Are you understanding the progression of the video? Like, okay, they're going on a car ride. He's talking about starting the car. You can still learn from this and be engaged with something that's a little bit more exciting, right? That's the number one thing, is that if you start becoming completely numb to the comprehensible input method and you're just finding yourself like, oh my gosh, I just can't do another 5 minutes of Thai input or any language, you need to start branching out to some native content, because you're on the verge of falling off to a quitter, and we don't want to be quitters on this channel. Number 2 is that you've already surpassed 500 hours of comprehensible input. I think 500 hours should be enough time for most people to start integrating some type of native content. Yes, there's gonna be people that, it's not as productive, you don't understand a certain high percentage, but you have to remember that native content and comprehensible input content are not the same. One's for teaching, one's real language, and you need to start getting exposed to this earlier on than you may think. And I definitely see this with people who only watch comprehensible input videos, and they're at similar amount of hours that I'm at, and they struggle with native speech. And for one, Thai people don't talk like textbooks, right? We don't talk like textbooks on this channel. I hope we don't. But Thai people have a unique way of communicating with a lot of context that you just have to kind of follow along. And unless you're used to watching Thai people talk in their regular way, you're never going to pick up on this on some pre-recorded YouTube videos. No matter how hard they try. I saw some of the Dream in Spanish videos where they try to make it like a movie sketch. But when you're dealing with the teachers on the YouTube channel, they're on like a Zoom call, and you're not getting like interactions between two people that strong, like, oh, this is supposed to be really, very funny. It's different. Number 3 time where you're like, okay, it's time to branch out to Thai native content. If you're watching Beyond the B4 playlist on the Thai Comprehensible Input YouTube channel, right? And you can understand Kru Fa like very well, right? There's Korean, Kru Fa, and a lot of people complain on the YouTube channel that the nice girl with the glasses talks too fast. And if you're feeling either way, if you're feeling like she talks too slowly, or if you feel like she's talking too fast, it might be time for you to watch native content, because the entire time she is talking like a regular person. She talks slightly slower. And if you're already struggling to keep up with that speed, expose your brain to a little bit faster Thai to realize she's talking slowly. If you already understand her, it's time to probably consider, especially in the intermediate videos, like, hey, I need to start watching native content, because you're almost there. Most of the content after that, they're going to be talking so much slower that your brain is still stuck on slow Thai. You don't want to be a person that can only understand slow Thai, because native people don't talk that slowly. Number 3 time, it's time to break free from just watching teaching videos, is that you just feel like you already kind of know everything. There's been several periods in the intermediate videos where they're talking about different topics, but I realized just from native content, I've learned a lot of what they're talking about, the vocabulary of what they're talking about. I've already learned this. Why am I stuck watching these videos that are dull, to say the best thing? They are very helpful, but if you're already able to understand words and context clues in native content, why are you still just grinding away at comprehensible input? Number 4 time to switch to native content or introduce native content to your learning is that you are a complete beginner of Thai, and the Thai culture, Thai way of talking, the Thai way of being is completely new for you and you're trying to understand the culture for the first time ever, I think it's time to introduce something 15 minutes a day and just get used to how Thai people interact, their comedy, the way they talk, more about the culture, their food, because you're going to be spending a lot of time with this language. And if you don't jive well with Thai culture, I've had this personally when I already studied the textbook method way of another language. I don't want to say it, but I end up hating the culture. Like, not just dislike, I just did not jive well with the culture of this one language. And I wish I would have delved more into native content in the beginning to see, was it worth wasting, time of my life to study a language of a culture that I didn't really care too much about, to be honest. And number 5 time that you should consider switching to native content, even though you're still learning through comprehensible input based videos, is that you want to. If you just want to, just go do it. Nobody's stopping you. The great thing about comprehensible input is that it's your way of consuming the language without a teacher telling you what to do, without wordless. This is like the only type of language learning way where you're not really forced to have flashcards to learn random words that you don't want to learn. If you want to learn more about a car dealership, I've done this before, and just start watching YouTube videos or content on Instagram about people who go and sell cars. You can do that. You can do what you want to do. And you just want to. You just want to get more exposure to this type of Thai content. You can do that with Thai comprehensible input method ways, So those are the 5 ways or times that you can integrate native content while you're studying Thai. Just for, flowing out my mind right here and thinking back, really reflecting on my own learning journey and when I could really start understanding native content. If you watch some of my older videos, I was recommending like a video series on Netflix that was in Thai called A Girl From Nowhere. I found after even the first 100 hours, you'll find words that but because a lot of things are shortened down, you could know quite a few words in the sentence. You just don't know enough after 100 hours, my personal experience, to really start really be able to understand native content as easily. I would say at least 300 hours. You can definitely start enjoying native content. I think I still benefited from that, where if I was going to watch something passively or just kind of for enjoyment, I could put something on in Thai, even though it was more difficult to understand. My brain was still kind of absorbing speech patterns or kind of noticing how Thai people interact and goofed around. But for learning of new words, I really didn't find those videos to be as helpful for the learning process themselves, but they can definitely help you with enjoying and adventuring out into the language and getting, some more input that you wouldn't have done either way. It's not going to be detrimental or harm you to start watching earlier. But I would say for my own learning, once I got through the Comprehensible Input YouTube channel, I got done with the B0, B1, B2, B3, I believe the B4. I was in probably halfway towards the first intermediate playlist, and that one had crazy amount of videos. It has I think almost 1,000 videos, something crazy, right? You'll see once you get there. The intermediate playlist, I personally feel like should be broken up just like the beginners, maybe intermediate 1, 2, 3, and 4, because for a learner like myself, I really want to finish the playlist, and those were it was just so long. The intermediate playlist, I need to go back and do a review about them, because I feel like they should have been broken up, just because, again, they're just so long, and I could see people just trying to knock them through and just getting burned out, especially because you're going to start hitting right around that, I would say the first 400 hours, 500 hours can just be so grindy. So if you ever played like an RPG, this is like the time where you're just grinding and grinding and exploring a lot of different topics. And they're very helpful topics, but they can be very just mentally grind mode, right? You're just grinding through these videos. I think the creator could definitely break those up into 4 sections like they did the beginner playlist. It wouldn't be as daunting, and people can create these smaller goals like, okay, in this 6 months or this year, wherever, I'm gonna finish this playlist. I think that could really benefit a lot of people. But just so you know where I was about halfway done with that playlist, intermediate 1, and I started watching native content then. And this is where you need to decide what type of content you like to watch and be realistic. So if it's something heavily visual, I found that to be so much easier to watch, understand, comprehend, and be beneficial in the long run. At first, it was definitely way more difficult than the Comprehensible Input YouTube channel, right? But I was very intrigued by solo travel videos to Europe and all around the world, and visiting the same similar places, seeing the same things, where I was so engaged with the learning that even though it was hard, I got repetition that made it easier. If you get what I'm saying, like, you're gonna have to watch these type of travel videos maybe for like 20, 40 hours, but you eventually start realizing like, okay, these people are ordering things, they're going to a hotel, they're doing everyday life functions, and it's gonna be very different at first because you're learning almost complete sentences with a textbook method, or you're still learning, a lot of vocabulary and repetition with the Comprehensible Input channel that is still going to be difficult to understand. But I would say once you get to intermediate level, definitely start knocking away at native content. So if you're doing, say, 2 to 3 hours a day, try to get 30 minutes of native content and build it up from there. I did notice after I got further and further away from 500 hours, say 600, especially 700 hours, I would say the language learning with Comprehensible Input for me was not linear. So I had just, gradual learning, I'm slowly improving. And then every so often, there's just these massive jumps. Like, it's a massive exponential jump to the next level where the understanding just got so much better. And something really clicked around 700 hours where a lot more native content kind of opened up. And I got in more of a rhythm of things. I would say if you want to be comfortable with more topics, you can keep pushing, Comprehensible Input videos later and later, but you're going to be much further behind. The people I spoke to who just did the Comprehensible Input videos and they stayed with the teaching series, they still struggle with listening to natives or watching native content. And I think that's because 800 hours in, you're still watching Comprehensible Input videos and you're not really engaging with native content, with native speech, because they talk drastically different. Even some of the advanced videos, they still talk slowly because they're teaching vocabulary words. And I don't want to say the exact language teachers, but just comparing where I personally feel where my level is in Thai right now. And I look at the levels, and I talk on this channel about being able to talk to my mother-in-law or talk to Thai people, but it's not like I'm drastically like this most fluent person where I'm just being able to talk about everything. There's things around me that I still don't know the words, and I definitely find them out quickly. I made a comment before about my lack of vocabulary on things that are deeper, and I find that out in conversations so much. Like, I can explain in present tense what I'm going to do, what I want, basic life functions, talk about my day, talk about things around me, the most common everyday things that I would do every day. I don't see a problem in that. My problem is when I want to express deeper frustration or thoughts. I'm having an issue with a furniture company here in the United States delivering broken products for like the fifth time, and it's expensive. Like this is like almost a $4,000 USD, like US dollar table, and it's been delivered 5 times broken, and it's just really frustrated me. And a loss for today was I'm trying to explain to my mother-in-law like, hey, this is the problem with the table. I'm explaining to her like the table's broken, and last time it was delivered, it was broken, and 5 times ago it was broken. But I wanted to explain to her that I'm so frustrated with this company. I never want to buy from them again because they're unreliable. And I just realized I don't know the word for unreliable. Like it's I just say like frequent broken, like I try to explain it with Thai grammar, but it's just the deeper levels of communication just aren't there. I think if I heard higher levels of speech, well, I know I understand them, but speaking wise, I would really have to place myself. I mean, definitely a solid A2 if you wanted to know what I personally feel my level is right now. I think personally a high A2 or breaking into B1 at the lower part, just because I struggle explaining very deep thought still. Like everyday things are fine, but I still feel like I need more words. Like I'm running out of words to describe things deeper and deeper. Understanding 100%, I can understand B1 material. I'm gonna understand native content. I'm gonna understand native speech, but a lot of that is through context, and my ability to recall certain sentence patterns is just not there with complex things. I can understand a word in context. Like if you're reading a book, you would be like, okay, yeah, this means bad, but in order to use these words naturally, my level is below my listening, and that is probably expected because I had such a listening heavy approach to learn the language that naturally my listening is going to be my strongest. Where do I think my listening is? It's definitely above a B1. I would argue my listening is closer to B2 at my current level. And I would justify this because I can listen to podcasts, I can listen to videos of somebody just speaking without any visual aids, talking about their day or moving to a country and understanding their pros and cons and their griefs. And that's a win for me. Like I feel like a solid B2 understanding of spoken Thai is where I'm currently at. Production wise, high A2, maybe breaking into like the cusp of B1, but I also can't read or write, so take that with a grain of salt. But if you're looking to be able to consume Thai content and you're looking to get similar results to what I'm at now, say if you just like a Thai series or you enjoy Thai horror films or something about Thailand excites you, just want to be able to listen to people talk and understand what they're saying at house parties, you can definitely get there at my current hours currently and be satisfied with your results. Production wise, I'm still working on speaking to my mother-in-law. I'm working now speaking with my wife. Baby, my daughter is way below where I'm just basically teaching her what I know. But production wise, I'm still not where I want to be. That's why the series is going to continue going on. I'm not satisfied with my level of Thai, and I'm still integrating native content that I can find engaging but also understanding when multitasking. If you watch my previous videos, a lot of times I like to listen to Thai as the primary thing that I'm doing. I don't want to feel like I'm listening to Thai but I'm not really focused on the language. I'll put a video, just in case you're wondering what I worked out to today that I could understand. I'll put the video right here so you can get a general idea of the type of content that I can understand while multitasking.
ก่อนแต่งสำคัญจริงหรือสวัสดีค่ะทุกคนทับทิมนะคะวิดีโอนี้เราจะมาพูดถึงประเด็นการอยู่ก่อนแต่งนะคะอาจจะไม่ได้เฉพาะมีแฟนต่างชาติเนาะถ้ามีแฟนเป็นคนไทยทุกคนคิดว่าการอยู่ก่อนแต่งเป็นยังไงคะดีไหมเหมาะสมไหมหรือว่าจำเป็นหรือเปล่าเข้าใจนะว่าหลายๆคนเนาะ
But I feel like if I just focus so much more, especially with something with a visual, like a movie or something like that, it'll be a much higher level. And if you're wondering when you should start branch out to native content, there's nothing really stopping you now. Going back to the topic of the video, I just wanted to add some parts because I feel like some people may wonder, like, what level am I currently at and what could I get if I start branching more and more into native content? Because I think a lot of people are going to realize this. I left a comment on the Comprehensible Input YouTube channel that once I got to a level that I could consume a lot of native content, I kind of left that YouTube channel. And the reason was that I just felt like I was enjoying the language so much more and it became so much easier to get content in. But now I'm experimenting going back to the YouTube channel and watch videos that I haven't watched because I'm seeing that I can understand so much more and still use that channel while multitasking to get more input hours in. Just because when you multitask, like I live in South Florida, so there's an interstate called Interstate 95. And I tried watching, the easiest Thai videos for native content that I tend to enjoy if I'm sitting down. I just couldn't focus because people weave in and out of traffic like crazy. And my subconscious is just trying to survive and not get killed. Where I don't think my subconscious thinks Thai is important at that time. It's just trying to live on the interstate, right? So I put comprehensible input videos on where they talk slowly and my brain tends to pick up on things a lot more. But if you're able to just sit down at a table with noise canceling headphones on and you're watching content that is very visually stimulating where you can focus on, you can see what they're doing, I would believe around the 500-hour mark, as long as you find the videos engaging, you're going to pick up on something. Even if you don't know every word, the words that you do know are going to be ingrained in your brain even more because you still understand the words. When you shouldn't watch native content is if your interests are only podcasts, I find those extremely difficult until you get this click in your mind where you can understand spoken Thai so much better. I don't think podcasts are going to be as helpful. They don't have the visual aspect to help you unless they're throwing up visuals all the time. And a lot of times there's people with a microphone. Another thing that would be very difficult at that level would be things that have a lot of very unique specific vocabulary. I did find at first, like when I ventured out to Thai finance videos, that they had a lot of English in them that really, really helped my understanding of the native content. But they also have a lot of specific vocab words that it took, because I wasn't looking up these words, like certain words for financial terms that would have been easy just to look up. It did take time. So the more abstract, the more difficult or just far away from everyday life videos you get for your native content, the more advanced you would naturally need to be. If you are trying to branch out, say 300 hours, stick to day in a life videos. This is what you should be consuming, your bread and butter. If you're at 500 hours and you can understand day in life videos very well, I would suggest branching out to something a little bit more complex, like some travel videos or some topics that may interest you and see your understanding level. If you go to a topic and you don't understand anything, but you are understanding almost everything of the intermediate videos of the Thai Comprehensible Input channel, just go down to day in life videos, grind away. It's going to take 20, 50 hours of the native content to get used to the speech difference. I found once I find a topic, get 20 hours plus into it, things will get drastically easier. It's not linear. So language learning in general, I know this video is probably going on pretty long, is not linear. You're going to find out that you're going to have drastic jumps every so often. And it's not for everybody. Not everybody's going to have a different period when they accelerate rapidly in their language learning. Some people may be like every 100 hours, 25 hours. Everybody's going to be slightly different. But integrating native content is going to be very important for you. You just gotta slowly integrate it, give it time, repeat the process, and learn that way. And if you want to see any more videos, make sure you click the like button and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one right here. Take care.